Hi, this is Dr. Roos, and I thought I don't normally do this for my hybrid classes, but since we missed the first class, I thought I'd do this video and kind of go over what you missed, and I'm going to try to keep it like around 10 minutes if I can. All right, there's a lot to say, and I'll probably say most of it in the first class, Wednesday um, next week, and so I'm going to go through, I've made a little like outline up here to go through a lecture and a few things about you want you to be familiar with the lab and maybe some policy stuff. So anyway, you probably have seen this hopefully at this point if you've seen this video, because the video is going to be posted in an announcement right above this announcement. So no class today. I may change that to, like today's date instead. But yeah, we didn't meet today. And what I'll be doing each week after, if I don't forget, is I'll post an announcement about what I did in the class. And actually, this announcement I posted in my other section of this class that meets on Tuesday. So you do have that option of coming to a Tuesday class if you'd like instead of on Wednesdays, but it meets in the same classroom, but it starts at 9:30. So I just want you to be aware you have that option. Like there's a total of 4 sections of the biology lab. Okay, you're enrolled in one of the sections. I made this video, lecture versus lab, for people that aren't familiar with that concept because it can be a problem for some students in the past. And so I made this video. So hopefully you watch this if, and it gets, so it talks about the class too and stuff I'm going to, discuss in this video. So anyway, now in here, right, it says you should complete the syllabus quiz. And most of the time, I'll link things that are found in the content section in announcements just to make it easier for you to get to. But everything's in the content section that you see. If you see something like chapter 1 video, there are a lecture video module in the content that contains all my lecture videos, for instance. So I want you to be familiar with that. But anyway, the syllabus quiz, basically, if you've been doing, if you've taken classes before at Daytona State, we would make our syllabus in a Word file and then, post it and you'd read it or we'd talk about it or whatever. Now we went to a company. So in order to view the syllabus for lab or for lecture, you click on the syllabus up there and it takes you to another website. And that's where you see the syllabus for this class or whatever class you're taking. All the classes will have that same syllabus tab. So there are questions, you might want to open this up before you take the syllabus quiz. I'm only using this completion of the syllabus quiz to verify your attendance. And I would have done that by taking attendance today if we had class today, but I didn't. And if you had missed class today, I could have used it. I need to verify your attendance, right? So there's a policy. I have to verify it again after the withdrawal date, and you could be withdrawn from the class or dropped from the class. You get a W-1 in November for that, but you'd be dropped from this class if I tell them no, you haven't attended. And any class like that's like that at Daytona State. So anyway, so take the syllabus quiz. It's not graded. The grade doesn't count. It's a nice way of maybe getting familiar with the quizzes. There is a practice quiz if you want to become familiar with the quiz format, more or less, is what it helps you learn. So one person's already taken it. You can take it multiple times if you want. The chapter 1 quiz is now open or available, so you could take that now. I would take the practice quiz if you think so. Then take the syllabus quiz. Just answer the questions, complete it. That's all I'm asking you to do. And it helps you get familiar with some of the concepts that I'm going to talk about, in this video too. So the other thing in the announcement, right, it says watch chapter 1 video covering chapter 1 PowerPoint, because I didn't intend on covering that in the class today, right? And I told Tuesday's class to do that, right? In the semester I may, because we don't have time maybe to cover a PowerPoint in the class, I might say, well, watch a video. And all these videos are YouTube videos. There's links to them in the content section. But you could watch under lecture videos, right? In this module, there's 21 videos. There's 2 videos on chapter 17, 2 on 16, one's in 15. But one's a long version, one's a short version. I probably ought to get rid of the long versions. No one's probably going to watch those. But they're just, I took a video while I did this during one of my classes, right? September or spring of 2022. So you can always watch these. I mean, I don't take attendance in class, so technically, if you missed it, it wouldn't hurt you to miss a class and to watch, the video about what I covered in class. If you want to do that, that's your option. I will have a weekly announcement about what we did in class each week, so you'll know. You can keep up by reading the announcements, right? And you don't need a textbook, right? Usually I get asked that a lot. I think I've put that in enough places now. These are the PowerPoints, right? For each chapter we cover in the textbook that's not required, there's a PowerPoint, and there's a lecture video where I cover that PowerPoint in class if you want to watch that, right? So, matter of fact, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for you guys. What I'm going to do is Wednesday is I'll do PowerPoint 22 or chapter 2's PowerPoint, but I may go through it kind of quickly. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for you to watch that video and at least go all the way up until the bond start, right, where it starts. It's about the first 20 slides. That's how far I got in Tuesday's class. And what I'll do is I'm going to keep what I do in Tuesday's class the same as what I do in Wednesday's class. So I usually try to do that as best I can. So I just want you to be familiar, right, of up here, the section quizzes, or the section PowerPoints, and there's lecture videos. There's also a concept video. So this one, the first one, hydrogen atom, I didn't make that one. It's just a YouTube video that's kind of gives you a good explanation of what atoms are. So you can watch that if you'd like. There's a video I made about bonds and macromolecules. Those other ones that I've made help you understand concepts that are in the PowerPoint. So it's just sort of a supplemental thing. You don't have to watch them, but you can if you'd like. I made one on photosynthesis. It's a difficult concept. Then then I guess the other thing I want to mention is the exam and quizzes. The quizzes, like this one, quiz 2, is supposed to open up September 6th, which is the day of the class that I expect to finish chapter 2. I expect to finish 3 and 4 on September 6th. I may not, but I expect to. I hope to have chapter 15 done by the 13th. That's when they become available. They're all due September 17th, the same day exam 1 is due. Okay, you can take these quizzes twice. You get 10 points for a quiz. It's 100 points for an exam. In the lab, you have 2 practicals and both of those practicals are worth 100 points as well, right? So you earn a total of 700 points for class, and you earn, right, like 10 points for each quiz. So you go to the Gradebook and find this if you'd like, right? There's 5 exams worth 100 points. There's some bonus points you'll be able to accumulate if you'd like. I'll give you the opportunity to do that. And then there's a flyer assignment. And then in the Gradebook for the class, when we're done with all the lab points, then I'll enter them here, and they'll be added to the 700 points that you earn in class. Okay. Now it says down here 1025 because 25 is for these bonus points. And for some reason, this used to be 1,000 points even though I had these bonus points here, but something went. But don't worry about it, right? It's 1,000 points total, and then maybe as many as 25 bonus points, and then 90% of 1,000 is 900 points. 80% of 1,000 is 800 points. And you earn that grade for both lab. Your lab grade comes from those total points, and the grade that you get for class. Right? And you need to understand there's distinction between lab and lecture. Right? That's the other problem sometimes, like that's why I made that video. But if we go to a lab, see it says here, right, 401Y is the class. Well, is there a 401? No, there isn't. There's a 402L. There's a 405L, 404, and 403. So there's not a 401L, but sometimes they're the same number. I've got a 402Y section of lecture, and and there's also a 402L, right? But the difference is between the Y and the L. Everything else is identical to it. So it's very easy to confuse the lab and the lecture websites. So in the lab section, it'll say biology lab up here for your banner, whereas in the class, right, there is no banner. I might make a banner, I don't know, I might change it. So just those are the distinctions. And when you take the lab, right, they'll be hopefully keeping track of your attendance, right? So if you go here under tools, you can check to see if attendance count, because you want to make sure for lab 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that you are marked present for those labs, because there'll be bonus points maybe. And also the other concept is if you miss more than 2 labs, you can get an F. And the way that works is normally, that means if you miss 3, I'll consider failing you. If you miss more than 4, I will. So you need to be, right, committed to attending a weekly lab. If you're not committed to do that, then don't. You shouldn't be signed up for this class. Okay? That's the way I look at it. Right? You need. Now that's not the case with the lecture. It's okay if you missed 3 or 4 lectures, or you couldn't make it and you wanted to watch the video instead. That's your option, but you have to come to labs. And you can miss 1 or 2 labs. You can make them up by attending the same lab that same week. So if you have a lab on Wednesday, you could come on a Tuesday. If you had a lab at 8 a.m., there's one at 2 p.m. So if you're not sure which lab, when the labs are, maybe I'll make an announcement about that too. I think are they already there? I think in the lab I made the announcement, right? When the labs are. Yeah, here they are. There are 4 lab sections that meet. So, and the other things people don't understand, there's a biology lab. That's where labs are conducted. Experiments. That's in building 5. Both lectures meet in building 6. They're in different buildings. You can't do a lab in building 6, right? There's a lab for AMP class, there's a lab for chemistry class, right? So each subject has their own lab where they conduct their experiment. Then there's 2 sections that meet on Tuesday, one at 9, the other one at 11, and then on Wednesdays I teach 2 of the labs at 8 a.m. and one at 2 p.m. And I put on here, I tried to make it clear, you meet in class and lab once a week. This is in the lab website. It's the same. The announcements will be the same for all the labs, so I kind of try to keep that constant. And then there are 2 biology class sections. So a lot of people when I say class, they think, oh, he's talking about lab, but I'm not. Right? And if you're not sure, then ask me. So the way the lab works, right, there's going to be quizzes that you take in lab. They're not online like they are in class. And then there are 2 practicals that you take, one in the middle of the semester and one at the end of the semester. And then in order, right, there are 2 lab PowerPoints, one for practical 1. So like the first 5 labs, all the material for them are in this PowerPoint, and then the remaining labs that we do are covered in this PowerPoint. So there are 2 lab PowerPoints. There's a PowerPoint for each chapter in class. You're not going to find the lab PowerPoints for the practicals in the class content, right? And vice versa, right? If you want material, lab handouts, right? There's handouts for next week. You should bring the microscope handout with you to lab. You could print out the measurement if you'd like to. Don't worry about the chemistry. But you're supposed to bring them with you when you attend the lab, right? Because there's no lab manual. Okay, so like I said, right then if you clicked on here, you go to the lab. Maybe take you to the lab syllabus, right? There's a syllabus for class. There's a syllabus for the lab. Seems a little redundant. You know, they kind of both apply to each other. And here's the breakdown of the lab points. And then the attendance policy, students that miss more than 2 labs receive an F. Now, you know, if you miss 3 and had a good excuse for something like that, that's not a problem. But, you know, when it gets to be 4 or more, and really you're going to fail anyway. Students that miss that many labs usually are students that aren't serious and they aren't going to pass. There's a few smart students that just don't want to do it, you know, but you know, you need to be committed to going to lab. And let me know if there's an issue with them taking attendance, because we need to make sure that the attendance is being taken and recorded somehow. Hopefully they're going to use, you know, this attendance. They'll open this up during the lab. It's not that hard to do, and then, you know, all they have to do is click on a lab attendance and then click on what lab it is, right? So next week will be lab 1, right? September, right? It's the day after Labor Day for Tuesday. I think that's September 5th, and then I think it's September 6th, whatever the date is. So anyway, I wanted to keep this short. Hopefully it is. And I'll probably repeat some of the stuff I said in this. I just kind of wanted to make sure you understood, you know, please take the syllabus quiz. I might give you a little bit more time to complete it since we didn't meet, you know. But anyway, I'll see you soon, and I'll talk to you then.